Well, this is pretty much the main topic this week, the free hit macro strategy and navigating blank game weeks 29 and 33. So I
So you
know,
want to go for it fixture wise
I mean, let's talk about it more of a macro discussion, right? Rather than
first?
talk,
Okay,
let's talk about,
cool.
because all three of us are on a similar strategy. We've used our wildcard and we have our free hit available, but let's try to keep everybody else in mind as well once we
Yeah.
discuss this. So what has
What's
happened
the
what has happened initially now, right? What was something we need to consider is all the injuries to players that people have been building up to for 29. Now you have Dan Burn, who's possibly injured, you have Sun, who's possibly injured, and you have Bamford. So a lot of
Yeah,
people have been
Saka too. Saka.
and Saka also. So you have a lot of people who have been preparing for this week, but they're now beset by injuries. Excuse me, somebody is knocking. Ella, could you just take over?
yeah? So yeah, the landscape has changed in terms of players available for people who even have been planning for game week 29. So this is something worth monitoring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the four categories of people that are people who have a free hit but don't have a wild card, people who have both the second wild card as well as a free hit available, people who don't have a free hit but just the second wild card available, and people who don't have any of them in terms of how many hits should they take, etc., etc. So let's talk about the people who have a free hit and no wild card like us. Bakar, what are you thinking in terms of strategy at the moment?
So I at the moment have five players for the free hit. Actually six, assuming that Son is fit. If Son and Bamford both are fit, then I have six players, and I have two
And how
free
many free
transfers.
transfers?
Two
Two.
free transfers. Yeah, six, assuming that Son and Bamford both are fit. Um, if that is the case, I'm probably gonna go with eight. But if Son and Bamford are injured, I'm more inclined to free hit. That's the way I'm looking at it, because that's too big an advantage to let go. Honestly, I'd probably free hit in that case.
How many points would you ideally look to gain in a free hit?
15, I think.
15.
That's it. 15 seems so
Yeah,
low. 15 is possibly just one player hauling.
Yeah, I know, but if you
I'm
if you
being
have
very
a
conservative here, given the fact that Brighton have consistently trolled their XG this season. So I'm being very conservative. But yeah, I'd be happy with 15, honestly, because when you look at how game week 18 was it, right, when most people free hit it, they didn't get an advantage of more than 10 15 back then. So I'd want to make that up minimum.
yeah,
Absolutely, you'd want
and
at least double that, I would say.
it's difficult though, because if you're talking about a
I'd be
free
happy
hit,
with whatever comes my way, but I've just got to set a minimum target.
I just can't help but wonder if there's a hint in there somewhere, Bakar. I'm sorry. All right. Anyway, what I want to talk about is something that we were discussing just before we got on and started recording the pod is in terms of base points and what is the comparison that you're making. Let's say after using your free transfers, you have seven players. This is the comparison you need to make. That if you have seven players, if you're free hitting, you're gonna get four additional players. That's likely 8 base points more. And let's
Yeah.
say out of the four additional players that you're getting, two of them perform, get you either a clean sheet or a goal. So that's 7 to 8 points more. So
Yeah.
how much is that? That's 8 plus
15.
8, 16 points.
Yeah.
Now, what the assessment that you need to make if you're in this situation is, do you back yourself to build a free hit draft that's going to get at least 15 to 20 points over your original draft in the future? And that's the only comparison you need to make, in my opinion, because it's so subjective to your own team. So this is the assessment you need to make. That's all I want to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's also another thing to consider here is that ultimately the players you're buying, let's say you're taking hits or you're making transfers, do you want those players beyond 29? Or do you want those players only for a shorter period? Now, let's say you're making improvements to your squad. In my case, I need to get rid of Brewster. If I bring in Bamford for Brewster, there's a transfer that's going to benefit my squad not only this week, but in the long term. Now, let's say I do Salah to Aubameyang. Now, Auba has this week West Ham, then he has Liverpool, and then he has Sheffield and Fulham. It could be a transfer that pays off over 3-4 weeks again. So things like that, maybe Antonio to DCL, not so much. And also you have to keep in mind where are the players. Let's say you have seven attackers and you're short in defense. I think that's still fine because defenders ultimately the ceiling for points This week looks pretty low. Brighton have the highest clean sheet odds by far, and that's not too high. I think that's 32, 33.
Not based on this season, if you ask me, Zoff. I mean, the defenders have been the ones carrying us week on
That's
week.
true. That's true. Not this
I agree
season
with
as
that,
much.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of cross plays, right? You're going to have a lot of attackers who are playing defenders in the same game. So
Agreed.
in that sense, the ceiling seems a little bit low. So
Yeah, fair.
so it's a bit different, like for guys now who have a wild card to play. That's why I have all the 4 sections over here. So like let's say now if you have your wild card to play in 31, it's very easy for you to remove your City players, you remove your Spurs players, and you can navigate game week 33 pretty easily. Now let's say somebody like us, we are planning to keep a large part of our City players. We still want to retain the likes of Kane and all that stuff. So for us, it's a bit good. 33 is going to be navigating. It's going to be a bit trickier because we're going to have to dedicate every transfer to removing players who blank in 33 rather than focusing on players.
Yeah, just worth mentioning for those that are not aware that 4 teams do blank in game week 33 because of the Carabao Cup final. That's Fulham, Man City, Southampton, and Spurs. Just wanted to add that. That's all.
Right. And another now curveball to throw into it is that double game week 35 is looking like a possibility due to the fixture reshuffle at the end of the season. The Everton Villa might drop there. Spurs Southampton might drop there. So something that might be beneficial in that week to use the free hit.
Agreed. But I think when it comes to the Spurs and the City players, I think going without the City players is manageable. So if you do decide to sell the City players for the forthcoming schedule and you're lumping onto more nailed players, I think it's fine. Spurs players, maybe not so much because they do have a good run and they're the ones out of the very few attackers that are consistently giving us points at the moment. So I do think going without City players is manageable at the moment. So let's do this category by category. So the category that we are in with a free hit and no wildcard in place, I think it's okay to free hit if you're like having only 5 or 6 players after using your free transfers in game week 29. If you're around the 7, 8, 9 player mark, I'd maybe hold on to that free hit chip.
You think 7 is worth saving at?
I think so.
7 is right on the edge. It depends on the players you have.
Depends on the players.
Borderline.
It depends on the players. If you have most of the guys who you think are legit captaincy options, I think it's fine. And we'll get into that once we talk about our teams individually. So that's why we can sort of skip. Let's talk into the second category now. People who have the free hit and second wildcard available.
I'd be more inclined to use the free hit then.
Absolutely.
Try taking
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. Then you can set up for 33 very easily.
Exactly.
You don't need to worry about that. It doesn't make sense buying players for hits now when you're going to use the wild card very soon either. So you're not really setting up for the long term. So I like the free hit in this category. Now, the third one, which is I think a very large part of the crowd falls under, no free hit, but second wild card available. A lot of our followers are on this strategy. So what do you guys think here?
In that case, just try getting as good a team as possible this week and then wildcard. Don't wildcard this week. I wouldn't wildcard this week. Wildcard after.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
if you're wildcarding this week, you're going to shoehorn yourself into getting majority of Arsenal, Spurs, West Ham, Leeds, and maybe some Fulham players. And there are other options there for the taking. Like you don't want to starve yourself out of United and Liverpool options on your wildcard, which look good for the run. Leicester options, which look good for the run-in. So I wouldn't wildcard this week and try to keep a balanced squad. Just make the most of what you can in game week 29 and then wildcard after in 31 probably.
31 is probably the week we are looking to wildcard, right? Because I think a lot of teams which have good fixtures in 29 have good fixtures in 30 as well. Primary of Villa, Leeds, and all those guys.
Correct.
Right. For those with no free hit, no second wildcard, again, bring in players who you're happy to retain for the long term. Taking hits is worth it, I think. If you're happy holding those players, don't look for them to repay the points over 1 or 2 weeks, but rather 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. And I think there are teams that fall into this category. Arsenal fall into this category because after West Ham, they have Liverpool, Sheffield, Fulham, Everton, Newcastle, West Brom. They look good to me. Spurs fall into this category for sure, in my opinion. Because after Villa, they have Newcastle at home, United, Everton, a blank, Sheffield United, Leeds, Wolves. So you can hold them for the long term as well. Fulham also fall into this category because immediately after Leeds, they have Villa and Wolves. So that's a good set of 3 fixtures that you're buying your players for. Leeds, I'm not completely sure of because after Fulham, they have Sheffield United at home and after that, they have City, Liverpool, United. So I'm not entirely sure about them. West Ham are great long-term buys because they're in the race for fourth and they have a good run at the end of the season and they are reliable named players. So I wouldn't mind pumping on West Ham players as well. So there are 4 or 5 teams who are offering you good purchases now that are good in the mid to long term as well. So that
Exactly.
just purchase players from those teams.
Right. So I think we've covered the topic of players worth taking a -4 for players from the teams you just mentioned.
Correct.
Right now, so how many players is a minimum is a question that people are looking to answer, but I don't think it's simple as just a number. It depends on the players.
Exactly.
But if it was 7, so how many more? 8, 9, 10, 11. 4
I'm-
players, 8, 16 base points would be worth it. Probably worth it, in my opinion, based on the calculations that we did right now.
I would say 7 is probably the minimum for me. I think not necessarily 8. I'll be okay with 7 just because of how limited the talent pool is this week, especially if now let's say Bamford and Son are out. I struggle to think like, while making the free hit, like while we were making our drafts, I'm sure you guys must have experienced the same. You're just looking around like, where do I put the players? Which players do I get? The pool is so limited.
Fair.
So, but there is like the point that other people are making is that we are possibly overthinking it. This is the only week where you're going to get a guaranteed benefit of the free hit.
Correct.
Exactly. This
Yeah,
is a
not
very
wo-
underrated point, I believe.
Exactly. Agreed. Because I do like Bakar's argument that, in another week when you're free hitting, your original team there's a good chance it outscores your free hit team. There's no
Or at
guarantee.
least you can come close.
Yeah,
Come close,
there's
but
no
but then again, like there are there's one more blank to come. Most likely, in fact, 2 more blanks to come because there might be some more thing because of the fixture reshuffle and another double possibly to come.
Yeah.
That's
the thing worth monitoring, which we don't know about. That's all.
that's possibly.
This is what makes it
because-
tricky, that we don't exactly know what's in front of us, and yet we have to make the decision to free hit this week.
And also, like, if you're shipping out Man City players, if you're shipping out Spurs players, then do you need to free hit in 33? That argument spins back around again.
Yep. Agreed.
So it all depends a lot on your team. And I think we'll be discussing our drafts and teams. So hopefully that will help you guys decide further. Let's